Other books and things with Tom. We're at the end of October, and it doesn't seem possible with the summer has gone all the way. Here we are getting into winter, although you wouldn't know it today. My guest today is George Crouse, first selectman of the town of Stonington. George and I have been friends for many, many years.
We just had a class reunion. We won't say which one.
I'm afraid to.
But it's way more than double digits.
Oh, jeez. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. My pleasure.
Trying to find out a little something about what's going on in Stonington, and it's just, what's good's going on over there.
Well, there's always something good going on in Stonington. The girls' cross-country team is heading for the state tournament. They won the ECCs. The field hockey team is actually lost a few. At times it doesn't, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to compete for the state championship because they play a lot of difficult teams. Football has a home game Friday night. Soccer has got 2 or 3 games left. As far as sports go, the town is supporting it. The roads are done. Basically, I think the last of the paving is this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because the asphalt plants will shut down, I think, November 1st. And then we go into picking up the leaves.
That's always fun.
Yes. There's always something happening in the town.
Now, you taught tennis.
Oh, I've taught tennis
Forever.
forever. I started at Williams Beach, and basically it was a great summer job. I got 50 cents a person a lesson, and at that time, as you remember, back when we were young, to make $2 or $3 an hour was quite a salary.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, most of our jobs, summer jobs, when we were in high school and college, were making $1 an hour, and we thought we were doing well.
I started out at EB for $1.50, I think.
Wow. Well, times have changed to the better in that
Fortunately.
one. Yes.
And how many titles did you get?
I hate to brag, Tom. Many ECC titles.
Yeah.
4 state titles and a lot of runners-up.
Wow.
In tennis.
That's great.
Both boys and girls. I did boys until 2001, and then I used to do a fall with the girls and spring with the boys, and then we unified with the rest of the state with the girls, and I kept the girls at the time because basically I had an very long undefeated record, and I figured I want to see how far it went.
Yeah.
And we won't go into how far it went because that'd be bragging. But we've had very good teams for almost 3 decades now.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yes. Now your daughter plays too.
Well, I had actually the only one left playing as a job is my son George, who is a professional USPTA. That's a professional teacher. Huh. He's down in New Jersey, Moorestown, and that's his living. He teaches tennis lessons.
Oh, that's cool.
Mine was basically part-time.
Yeah.
Until after retirement, then I ran Mystic Indoor Tennis for a couple of years.
Okay.
And that's changed ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played tennis about the time you started, but with my knee, it's just very difficult to run around.
Oh, yeah. With the bad knees I have now, if they hit me a ball to my forehand, I just say, nice shot.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
You win.
Good sportsmanship.
And how has the town changed since?
Well, you and I both grew up when the buses were full of students going to schools. Now maybe they're a quarter or half full.
Really?
We went to Broadway School.
Yeah.
Now everybody goes in the Mystic area to Dean's Mill.
Yeah.
We have Dean's Mill, Mystic Middle. We went to a grammar school, K through
That's
8.
right. We don't do that anymore.
And then we had I looked at an old picture at the reunion, and there were quite a few. We must have had 60 or 70 graduates from Broadway School in the 8th grade graduation. And remember, that was a big,
and that was
big
one of the last ones that graduated in 1950.
Of those types of schools, West Broad is still going.
Yeah.
And Basically, that's the building program in the town of Stonington for elementary schools. There's 2 schools in 3 years, 17 or 18 are going to be finished, and West Broad is going to be, there's a committee that's going to find a different use. But West Broad, right up until the end, will be used as a school, because when you do schools, you have to place the children somewhere. So
Yeah.
West Broad's still a vital part of our school picture for a few more years. Then
Yeah.
the committee will give us options on what to do in the town with
Well,
the building.
it's too bad, because like we went to Broadway School, we were a community of people that went to that school.
Yeah.
You know, we all know each other still, and it's been all these years. But that was that school. And
Well,
the same with West Broad Street.
Remember, we walked to school and we walked home for lunch.
That's right, uphill both ways.
I went level. I lived on Church Street.
And yeah, we went home every day, and it was even in the snow.
Oh yeah.
But I think if it was a mile away, you got a bus. Less than a mile, you had to walk.
I think there's still some walking to West Broad. But,
Yeah.
all the other schools, the children are bused, and my grandchildren take buses to Dean's Mills. So
Yeah. And then
and as they get older, I think juniors and seniors in high school, very few of them take the bus. They drive.
Yeah,
In our days, if you had a car, you were very, very fortunate.
I did.
Yeah. Okay, you were the lucky one.
I was very lucky. Yeah.
You had a lot of friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody's your friend. Oh my Lord. But I had to get a car, fortunately, because my mother and father didn't drive.
Okay.
And so when I got my license, they said, "Well, we got to get him a car." And I said, "Thank you." And then I paid for that.
Yes.
Because you got to run everybody to the store. And,
Well, the
but,
schools in those days gave student driver lessons, so
Yes.
and that's long gone.
Yeah. A lot of it's a shame that a lot of this stuff has just been cut out.
Right.
And I think, like we used to get the bus out in front of the church.
Correct.
We all stand out there, and there was 2 buses, a senior and a junior. And it was actually 4 buses, because I don't think the girls went on.
Oh, I remember the girls on the bus
Was
every
it?
morning. Yeah, we had girls on the one I was traveling on.
And then the
And it
bus
couldn't be
driver,
that much different from you because it was on Church Street.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
was on the same buses, and the bus driver used to race the other bus driver. And then-
Oh, I remember. We shouldn't say that. I think I remember that one, but
I wrote it in my book, so it's all
okay.
it's out there.
The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
Hat.
But that was, and they didn't go fast because they had governors on the engine, so they couldn't go fast.
True.
But they'd go sneaky and move around and all days. And that was the day when the high school was new.
Yes, we were we were sophomores in the new high school
Yep.
in 2003, 1982 and 2003. 82 was remodeled, and 2003 a whole new high school, and only thing left basically are portions of the auditorium, and the gym is still the same.
Really.
Yep, the gym hasn't changed.
I haven't been in it, so I have no idea
Well,
what it
it's-
looks like.
It's still less than official or smaller than the regulation, but it's like I guess starting to tradition to play on that floor.
I remember Peavy used to get up there and give us lessons. And
Oh yeah, well, we won't say his nickname. We'll be too embarrassed.
yeah. No, it was good. I've enjoyed living in town of Stonington. I lived in Legend for 30 years, and I'm back. And
Well, I went to Central Connecticut, and my wife is from West Hartford, and we decided to come down here, and she was, just giving it a chance,
yeah,
and I don't think she would have. She's now a implanted native because she just loves the town, and
yeah.
she doesn't even want to go to Florida. And everybody our age usually
Yeah,
takes a
everybody-
trip to Florida.
The Stonington's a good town, and we've
Very
had,
good.
Of course, you can't afford to live in Mystic anymore. Unless you're
Certain
making
portions
a
of the
lot
town
money.
are we'll say pricey. The more water scenic you are, the
Yeah.
higher the price. And it always has been. I remember Basins Island in our day was high priced.
Yeah, that
real
was the
estate.
place.
Yep.
And God, so you couldn't get on it.
And the people who have retired here from out of state have found the character of the town that we've stayed here and loved.
Yeah.
The water, the open space, the villages. We're not a quaint New England town, but we're certainly a characteristic New England town with libraries, squares, greens, flagpoles.
Gotta have flagpole.
Business, little mom and pop stores, businesses that were of small proprietors or single proprietors. It's a type of life that is a little slower than the urban areas, and I think we enjoy it. Although we have all the I-95 access, and we're not that far from Providence or New Haven or Hartford. And then most of us are rooting for either New York or Boston teams. So that was always the split because we're sort of halfway between.
Yeah, and it's always been a friendly, more or less, rivalry.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a Yankee fan, always have been. And
we're going to be very, very happy. At least we made the playoffs this year, but
yeah,
I guess we've got to
do some revamping.
Good trades or find some younger players.
And now the Mets have got a big job to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for the Mets. I remember when they first started, they had a guy hit a home run, Jimmy Pearsall, and go around the bases backwards. So we used to travel down, my parents and I, to see the Mets.
Yeah.
So
the amazing Mets.
Yep.
And now we have our mystic star on the Mets.
Oh yeah, Mr. Harvey.
Yeah.
Matt Harvey. Yeah.
His grandfather lives in Pawcatuck.
Yeah.
And he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
But I think as far as sports is concerned, Stonington has always been a big sports town.
Surprisingly, there are 11 spring sports with about, I think it used to be 70% of the school participating. I think it might even have gone up to 80% in the spring. Really? It's a great thing for the students. They participate, they get exercise, they belong to teams, their parents support them. I just attended 2 weekends ago out in Ashway at the Pavilion pancake breakfast that had 400
Really?
parents and friends show up to, I think it was field hockey. Yes, field hockey.
Huh.
So
Now they have a golf.
they have a
Team
golf
too?
team in the spring.
We never heard of them.
We only had 4 sports done. In fact, I switched to tennis in college, and that changed my life. One of those Yogi Berra deals where you come to a crossroad and you take it. I took it. And I've never, as you remember, I played baseball in high school.
Yeah.
And we had a state championship team I played on, and I hate to brag, but we had a lot of good friends and a lot of good classmates played on that team. And I went to college and just fell in love with tennis.
And it's a good thing.
Yeah, gave me another occupation when I retired.
Yeah.
Tennis professional.
And I'm sure you've, all those years of teaching so many kids that are probably still around here.
Many of them come up to me now when I'm out campaigning, and you gave me tennis lessons. Of course, I gave them tennis lessons when they were 5, 6, 7, and now they're adults, and I strained my memory to see the resemblance and remember the name.
Yeah, that's getting tougher.
It's always interesting. Sometimes I surprise myself.
Somebody will come up and say, "Hi, Tom, how are you?" And I'm going, "Give me a hint."
Yeah.
What is your name?
Yeah, I know.
It's hard because you start to forget those things. There's so many other things you have to remember. And so you just start to lose it. You see sometimes the facial recognition, but then the...
Well, yeah, I recognize a lot of my students. I had, you spend a whole year with them, so their eyes, their face, the center face, you recognize it, and then you put the name together. Of course, if they were Miss Smith, now they're Mrs. something else or Ms. something.
Yeah.
And I usually pretty good at you're Miss Smith, and they laughed, And they say, yes, you're Mr. Crouse. And I say, yes, I'm still around.
Wow. The town has done so much. I'm really impressed with the roads because it spoils us when we're going to Rhode Island. Oh my
Well,
Lord!
Rhode Island, you have to understand the mill rate or the taxes are very low. I hate to say it, their taxes are on assessed property. Their mill rate's about half of ours,
Really?
and that's the byproduct of what you get. We just ended the $4 million bonding for road repaving, so now we're going to be back on the regular paving, and there's a whole set of, in the spring, Mystic roads that the Aquarian went on, East Main Street, those roads in that area, they're a little bit torn up, but our money was committed with the bonding to Pawcatuck, and now in the spring we're going to get to the Mystic areas. And I know myself, when I go to CVS, it's a bumpy ride. I realize that. And you don't have to call me. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it in the spring.
Yeah. Incidentally, speaking of CVS, I see where Walgreens has purchased Rite Aid.
Yes. And I
Hopefully.
assume that'll be a smooth transition.
And hopefully they're going to stay in Pawcatuck.
Yeah, I mean, I when I go by Rite Aid, there's a lot of customers, and usually going to the pizza. I can't remember the pizza shop.
Cristo.
Cristo's, yes.
Yeah.
And there are people coming in and out of there, so I think it's a good location.
Yeah, because I know when they had one in Westerly and they tore it down, but they built a huge one. And now there's a Rite Aid about 3 or 4 doors down from the Walgreens.
Yeah.
And that'll go. That'll disappear.
Well,
I hope we keep ours.
the corporate gurus have just stole Monsanto from us. Monsanto's going to move in about a year. That's in back of the Hilton.
Yep, been there forever.
And fortunately, we have an economic development consultant who will be hired shortly. And I think the first job for that consultant is to see if we can find some biology group or something, because there's beautiful greenhouses there. Even a flower distributor or something maybe could use it. But we're going to search hard to fill that spot.
And they got a great lab.
Yes.
They got everything there.
Everything's there. And I talked to the gentleman in charge of the move, and they're going to try hard to sell it because they don't want to leave it here and pay taxes, or the worst they'll do is donate it. I think they want to get it off their tax rolls. And,
Sure.
for the 42 people working there, it's sadness. Some of them will go with the company. Some of them will get generous buyouts and layoff. But that's business around the world today. It's corporate and it's global, and this was part of a global reduction in force, not just Mystic. Believe it or not, Raleigh-Durham, which is the high-tech triangle, they closed another of their subsidiaries there, and also one in Wisconsin. So we're not the only one that was closed.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw that in the paper that they closed a number of them. And Monsanto's not exactly a very healthy word right now anyway, because of the GMOs.
Well, yes, I'm.
Just shut this off.
Yeah, there's two ways to look at things: the health way and the tax assessment way, and hopefully some things can be good in both ways, and that's what we like. Myself, I like smart development. Smart development is a development that is basically in our villages. We have 3: the Old Mystic Corridor, Old Mystic to Mystic, Pawcatuck Corridor along Route 2 and up Route 1, and into the Stonington Borough area. There are buildings and open shops or empty shops there that can be filled. We're going to work hard on that. The other thing is the character of our town. Why are we here, Tom? We're here because we really love the coastlines, we really love the fields, the stone walls. So a smart development takes into account the character of the town. And basically, most of us have stayed here because we basically fell in love with Stonington. We didn't move away. We found something to do.
And isn't that why these people are moving in?
Yes. One gentleman came up to me and said to me, "We don't have to do anything. Just say, I go anywhere and I just say Mystic. I say Stonington." And they say, "Oh, you live there?" And he was saying, Mystic and Stonington names just sell themselves. So let's hope that's true.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we've been blessed in being here for a long time, and we appreciate it. And we support, you know, I have and you have supported all things that have happened in the town.
Well, sure. And the funny thing is when we were kids, Mystic was not a good town. It was a poor town. It was
Yes,
a
it's
fishing town.
yeah, and a working man's town.
Yeah.
Same with the borough. It was the Portuguese
Yeah.
fishermen, and we met each other on playing fields. We met each other in the Little League. We met Babe Ruth League.
Yeah.
We were integrated in sports, and actually in Mystic we were integrated with the Groton side. I remember the Burbine family and Noank and Stevie Mack, who became an actor. Remember him?
Yes.
He went to Fitch, and he was a baseball pitcher, and I batted against him in the Little League, Babe Ruth League, and Fitch against Stonington.
Yeah, I think he's producing now, and I think his son is producing also.
Probably, but you go back in the 70s and maybe even to the 80s, we could find Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he's been back at all.
Yes.
You've seen him?
I saw him about 20-some years ago. He came back for a class reunion.
Oh, okay.
And I was DJing then. I went over to him. I said, "Steve, you got to do me a favor." He said, "What do you need?" I said, "My wife and my son do not believe me that I know you." Oh, he said, "No problem." He gave me an autograph picture.
Yeah.
And he was good because he was passing out autograph pictures to all his classmates.
Oh, okay.
And at that time, he was big. He was on the
sure.
couple of TV shows. And,
Yep.
and so I went home and I said, "So there."
See this? Yes. I do know the gentleman.
But you're right, because we immigrated in with Groton, even though we were such rivals with Fitch.
Well, it was Mystic. And
It was
then
Mystic. It was-
Even Stonington kids came over. That's the first time we met the Erskines and
Yeah.
that particular group.
And
I
then we had-
lost the name because I played ball with Dave Erskine
Yeah.
all the way through high school. So
And then there was the Como.
Como.
People would go over there, and then the Wesley YMCA, and
There was the Mystic Como in the garage.
yep. Like,
You had to
Pontiac
shoot line
place.
drive basketballs to make the shots. But that was Roger Cannell,
Yeah.
and Roger was a great director.
Oh, he was a great guy.
And we use the word 24/7. He was there. Anytime you wanted to go there, it seemed so he was there. And
Yeah.
he worked very diligently and hard for the youth of our
Well-
Mystic area.
That was the thing about the community center. If you had a problem, or if you just wanted to go in and play basketball, you just walked in.
Yeah.
And you joined whoever was there, and it was easy. Then they built the Taj Mahal in Mason's Island, and excuse me, that was just for the rich people.
Well, it ended up that way, Tom, but
Yeah.
a lot of us worked very hard with big sales, auctions, selling this and selling that to
Build it. It was
to build it. So that was a community effort, not
yeah.
you know. I remember doing a lot of many events
Yep.
for the Mystic Community Center.
Yep. And it was a big drive to get that, and everybody was so thrilled to get that brand new building until they found out that they couldn't go to it. And I went in there one time and I wanted to see Roger, and she said, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "No, I don't." "Well, you have to have an appointment."
Yes.
I said, "Just tell them I'm here." "I'm sorry, you have to have an
Well,
appointment."
the building changed the format. Because if you remember, you could just walk into Roger's office.
Oh yeah. And I told Roger.
Believe me, I knew Roger well,
Yeah.
and I think he liked the old way much
Yes,
better.
yes, because he was a hands-on guy.
Oh yeah, he loved kids.
Yeah.
He loved working with them.
And
He loved programs for everyone.
Yeah. But I'd like to see another community center. And even the Stonington Community Center is different than it used to be.
Well, excuse me, it's catching.
I think so.
Just have some water.
Wow. Well, we got about 5 minutes left.
Do you have any issues you would like me to talk about? There's one in your area where you live.
That's right.
When I came on and assumed the first selectman's job, I went to a seat meeting, and they were basically redoing the routes.
Yeah.
They had crossed out the Pawcatuck route. Needless to say, I was very, very, very harsh on the decision and very outspoken that Route 1 through Route 2 up Liberty Street out to the parking lot that connects 78 was a vital route, and right now it's back in, and hopefully the same routes are staying for one more year, and then there's changes. We were being subsidized by Foxwood, and the bad news is the subsidies are gone because their extra dollars are gone. So I'm going to have a meeting with the Board of Finance members eventually when the decision is made how much it's cost, because all these small towns are not happy with the new costs.
Yeah.
Because the mileage traveled in between stops is great, so you're getting charged for distance. Naturally, the cities are short stops with a lot of people. The buses really fit urban areas.
Yeah.
The bus routes for us fit need, and basically that's why I'm for keeping them, and I will keep fighting for the bus to stay in
because we're
operation.
trying to cut down on cars, and that's not going to help. Now, the other thing we were talking about before was our bus at the Brookside.
Yes, that's the one that saved.
Good, because we got a lot of people who use those
I know.
buses.
I mean, that's an area that needs it, and I've talked to many residents. They call me up and they're worried about their bus. The bus is there, you can tell them.
Oh, good.
The bus is staying.
Good. Because people are in wheelchairs, they haul them in there, and the driver's a nice guy, too. Anyway, next week, I got Harriet Grayson coming on. Harriet has written another book, and I'm not sure I remember what it was. Sometimes the memory just...
Well, I'm there at times, too. But
Yeah.
Fortunately, these days I have a secretary to remind me to get here on time.
Also, Halloween is this weekend. Drive careful. A lot of kids are going to be on the streets. It's supposed to be a nice night.
Well, Old Mystic Village is having a big event for the younger kids. You walk around the village and all the stores.
Do you remember the ones we used to have at the A&P in Mystic?
Yes. I remember a lot of tricks and a lot of treats.
Yeah.
So, I think,
Well, at the fire
parents
department
these
used to
days
do that.
I don't think are too much into tricking.
No, fortunately.
In our days, we were running around the town and everybody knew everyone.
Yeah. Change the clocks back at on Sunday morning,
Yes.
and
Extra hour sleep.
cuddle up with a good book, and I will see you next week. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Tom,
And
for
good luck
inviting me. My
Tuesday.
pleasure. It's great talking about the past.
It is, and it's good to bring up the real days and
I don't
find
know,
out what's
well,
going on.
It reveals our age, but that's all right. We're still around. That's what
Well, we're
counts.
around in a lot of them aren't.
And we're still busy.
Yes,
You're doing this and
Yeah.
being very active, so
and
that's awesome.
It is good. It is
That's
good.
it. Okay.